Om Namo Om Namo Narayani. Good morning, good evening, wherever we are all joining in from. Today is week 78, class for Sri Lalitha Sahasranamam, and we will be looking at her names from 538 to 544. Let us begin with our prayers. Om Jnana-rūpāya vidmahi Satyam Saya Dhimahi Tanno Satyam Ma Prachodayat. Om Jnana-rūpāya vidmahi Satyam Saya Dhimahi Tanno Satyam Ma Prachodayat. Om Jnana-rūpāya vidmahi Satyam Saya Dhimahi Tanno Satyam Ma Prachodayat. Om Sarvamangala-mangalye Shive Sarvartha-sadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Sarvamangala-mangalye Shive Sarvartha-sadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Sarvamangala-mangalye Shive Sarvartha-sadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhyanam Sindhuraruna-vigraham Trinayanam Manikya-maulisphurataranayaka-shekharam Smitamukhim Apina-vakshuruham Panibhyam-alipurna-ratna-chashakam Raktotpalam bibhratim Saumyam Ratna-ghatastha-rakta-charanam Dhyayet Paramambikam Dhyayet Padmasanastham Vikasita-vadanam Padmapatra-yatakshim Himabham Pita-vastram Karakalitalasat-khema-padmam Varangim Sarvalankarayuktam Satatam Abhayatam Bhaktanam Ram Bhavanim Shri Vidyam Santamurtim Sakala Suranutam Sarva Sampat Pradatrim Sakunkuma Vilepanamalika Chumbi Kasturikam Samandahasitekshanam Sacharachapa Pasankusam Asesha Janamohini Marunamalya Bhushojwalam Japa Kusuma Bhasuram Japa Vidhau Smaredam Vikam Arunam Karunatarangitakshim Dhrutapasankusapushpabanachapam Animadhibhiravratam Mayukhairahamityeva Vibhavaye Mahisi Om Aim Hrim Shreem Om Namo Narayane Om Shreem Shrimatre Namah Swaha Om Shreem Shrimatre Namah Swaha Om Shreem Shrimatre Namah Swaha Om Namo Narayane. Let us begin with her 538th name. Om Shreem mēdhāyai namah swaha. Om Shreem mēdhāyai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Shreem mēdhāyai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Shreem mēdhāyai namah swaha. Om Shreem mēdhāyai namah swaha. Om Shreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is Medha. Medha Devi, we come across her so many times. Medha, she is Medha Samsitai. She rules that Medha is that intelligence, that jnanam, and that intelligence specifically. And this intelligence, we saw her previous name is Amati. That form, she's beyond the mind state. There is no mind, so no mind state. And then the unmanifest state of the Brahman, and as the manifestation, the creation progresses, the subtle creations happen, the Panchabhutas and all these different, the physical life, the non-life, all these, the subtle forms, they happen before they appear in the gross form. And intelligence is a subtle manifestation before the gross physical form comes. That inherent intelligence within everyone, it is she, the Medha. And we worship her Saraswati Devi, Mahasaraswati, Medha Suktam, Om Medha Devi. We are worshipping that intelligence of hers that is inherent in the entirety of that creation. And there is also in Kashmir, which is the northern part of India, and in one of the Puranas it's mentioned Medha Devi. She's worshipped there in Kashmir. She's worshipped in our hearts, in Sri Lalitha Sahasranamam, everywhere. And the Medha Devi is also there in Kashmir. And interestingly, it just crosses my mind. There used to be an ancient civilization called Saraswati, with the civilization that developed along the banks of the river Saraswati. And this river is no longer visible. It has submerged, gone subterranean. And it used to be from the northern regions of India and the Kashmir, and those old regions and this Saraswati civilization comes from there. It's interesting that mēdhāyai is worshipped in Kashmir. The Saraswati river used to be, it could be seen as a flowing river like the Ganges, but now it's gone. It's hidden, subterranean, and those civilizations, they're supposed to be considered very, very intelligent. So Sri Lalitha Narayani is the Medha Devi. She is mēdhāyai namah. Her 539th name, Om Śreem śrutyai namah swaha. 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 Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is the Shruti. Shrutis are the Vedas. And Shruti means hearing. In the ancient times, Vedas have always been there. Vedas are eternal through all the yugas, not just this Kali Yuga, not just this cycle of the 4 yugas of Krita, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. All these multitudes, it's time immemorial. So it's like it's eternal. And during each ages, it is given to the life forms to live in accordance, in harmony with the Creator. So life is beautiful, smooth, and we achieve the purposes of life. Like it's like heaven on wherever we are, everything flows with grace and ease when we follow the Vedas. And these are the eternal codes of conduct that life that is set, how each life is to be lived, what are its like, everything is mentioned there. It is in the cosmos, and it is when going into deep meditation, the rishis, the seers, the sages, the saints, they hear these shrutis, it is heard, and they hear the Vedas. And then those days, they would teach the Vedas to others. And it was by way of from the Guru to the disciple, Guru, Sishya. And they would stay with the disciples, the Sishyas would stay with the Guru, the Gurukulam, in the hermitage of the sage. And they would learn it by way of Shruti. The Guru would chant, the disciples, the Sishyas would follow, repeat, hear and repeat. So it got ingrained in them. So they would recite all the Vedas, they knew it by heart, and it was transmitted down the generations as Shruti. It is called Shruti because it is heard, and it is by hearing the learning was done, and the Vedas were passed down, and so they were referred synonymous as Vedas, Shruti, and Shruti, what is by hearing became synonymous as Vedas. So Vedas are referred to as the Shrutis. And these are the sacred scriptures that have been passed down for millennia. And she is the Shruti. We have seen earlier also in her names. She is the Veda Rupini. She is the form of the Vedas. She is the sound of the Vedas. So she is the, when you hear it, you're hearing the sound. The form, you're seeing her. Here you're hearing the sound of the Shrutis. And that is Sri Lalitha Narayani. She is the Shruti. Her 540th name. Om Śreem Smrityai namah swaha. 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 Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is the knowledge in the form of memory. Smriti comes from the word smaranam. Smaranam is something you keep thinking, remembering, that memory, that recollection, smriti. And like Shruti is hearing, smriti is remembering. Like Shruti is equated to the Vedas because it was chanted down, passed down as a way of learning through hearing. Smriti is a way of the memories of the thinking, the recollections, and the smritis are equated to all the scriptures that are based on the meaning of the Vedas. So many different rishis, the seers, downloaded from the universe, the Vedas. So different rishis have sung the Vedas and they've been compiled. There is no single authorship. It is her, she is the soul, she is the form, she is the author. But when it's coming through the human form, through the rishis, it is a collation of all the various downloadings of various rishis. So it was Veda Vyasa. He is called Veda Vyasa because the sage Vyasa. All the so many schools of gurus, gurukulams were chanting this that was handed down from their guru downward, that lineage. Each guru's lineage were like chanting various aspects of the Vedas. He brought them all together. He compiled, collated all of these Vedas and made the four, the Rig, Yajur, Sama, the Atharvana, which was added later. So he compiled them, put them together, that it was manageable and cohesive, and it had this order, the Rig Vedas, the Yajur Veda and the Sama Vedas. The Rig was all the Vedas that were describing that Brahman, that quality of the Brahman in various aspects, like we've described how it's one Himalayas, but how you view it, some rishis would have seen the northern face, southern face, eastern, the aerial view from internal, inside the Himalayas. Anything, object could be seen and perceived and described in so many different angles, and each rishi had that merit, that sacred gift from Cosmic Mother to see her in these various forms. So they were chanting, reciting the Vedas as they had seen, and it is all her. So each one had seen different aspects, and he collated all those that were describing the Brahman into the Rig Veda, all those aspects that were like prescribing, like the Samayachara, the ways of doing things into the Yajur Veda, the Yajna, the aspects of the worships, the Sama Veda, the sound form of the Vedas, each form she's sung, her praise is sung, and the Vedas are sung through those notes of music. Sama Veda and Atharvana Veda is more of the metaphysical forms of physics, the happenings itself. So he compiled it, and he is referred to as the Veda Vyasa because he compiled it. And these Vedas, because they were so esoteric, like Guhya, we've seen, they had hidden meanings to them. And so many other scriptures came to describe the meaning of the Vedas, like Upanishads are considered like the condensation of the Vedas. It's giving it in crisp, clear notes. Like you have the main text, and then you have the notes for it, or the like the test notes, like the crisp versions of it. And like Upanishad, there are so many other scriptures that are interpreting the meaning of the Vedas in a very user-friendly form. Like there are the Puranas and so many things that the layman can understand, children can understand, and even the scholars, they can understand, depending on the uh, their needs and their how much they are uh, they can perceive how much their medha has been evolved, how much they have grasping power to that level. All these variations of the meanings of the Vedas were given to cater to the different levels and needs of the people. Like, for example, there is the constitution for each country. The constitution is by itself, but the way it is interpreted case by case or application by application, its interpretations, there are so many books, references for that, the interpretations for that in the judicial system and the administrative system. They go to that one aspect in the constitution, and then there are so many other texts that explain it, elaborate it, like that. The smritis were like elaborations or on the Vedas at different levels. She is the Shruti, she is the Veda, she is also the Smriti, all these knowledge of hers in the form of the scriptures, and the memory of it, recollecting it, remembering it. Like she is attained through constantly thinking of the divine. What you focus on is what you draw, and focusing on her, remembering her, thinking of the divine takes you to the divine. So this is also her. Like, for instance, there is an interpretation which I wanted to share. All the religions talk of ahimsa. Himsa is bothering and creating nuisance, trouble, harm to people. Ahimsa is not causing harm, not disturbing, not harming any life forms. So ahimsa is taught non-violence and kindness, love, all is taught by all religions. But at the same time, there are beings who cause trouble to others. They derive their joy by harming others. These are called asuric nature. So these asuras, demons, are going against the law of the Vedas, the Dharma. So when the divine comes to destroy them, it is not the rule of ahimsa that is followed. It is that those who have walked away from the path of the Vedas, those who have walked away from the path of that love, that oneness of that Brahman, and who are causing harm to others, who are in that path causing harm and so much troubles, they are killed. It is not by the rule of ahimsa, but it is to to re-establish the path of dharma. So even though there is destruction, this destruction is in line with the dharma. to keep the dharma going of that there is the oneness, there is the love, there is that unity, all that the Vedas subscribe to, that description of the Brahman that it gives. She is the Shruti, she is the Smriti, the thought, the recollections, and constantly chanting her name. Her 541st name, Om Śreem anuttamāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem, Om Śreem anuttamāyai, anuttamāyai namah swaha, namah swaha. Om Śreem, Om Śreem anuttamāyai, anuttamāyai namah swaha, namah swaha. Om Śreem anuttamāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem anuttamāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is the best. Uttamam is that highest, the best of best. Anuttamāyai, there is no one to compare with her bestness, no one equal to her bestness, or no one is superior to her. We have seen in her other names also, there is none who is superior to her, none who is better than her. She is the best, the bestest ever possible. And she is also one, her intelligence, the best in her, she is her own source. It comes from her. She doesn't derive it from anything or anywhere, because everything is derived only from her. Ma is the buddhi. It can be interpreted as Aishwaryam, all the resources, the wealth, and everything. It is hers, and this is her domain. It is hers. All the intellect, the buddhi is all her terrain, and all the Aishwaryam, the wealth, everything is hers. She can take of it, use it, give it, do as she pleases, because it is hers. She doesn't have to ask for permission, anything. And it's all hers, like it's the ownership, her dominion, and she follows. There is protocols to follow, restrictions, nothing like that. It's all her domain. As she is the ultimate best. Her 542nd name, Om Śreem puṇya kīrtyai namah swaha. Om Śreem Om Śreem puṇya kīrtyai namah swaha, namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇya kīrtyai namah swaha, namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇya kīrtyai namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇya kīrtyai namah swaha. Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is Puṇya is all the merit, the puṇyam, the merit, the righteous. Kirti is fame, who is famous for her righteousness. That's one way of looking at it. Or another way is her fame is that her kirti is punya. Just her kirti alone is so meritorious. It is so sacred and it is so sanctified. All the righteousness that is she, it's her that is so sanctifying and it is so famous. Or who is the fame that comes from the meritorious deeds and all the punyam that the devotees do, all life forms are able to do, all the punyam, the meritorious acts, bring fame with them. And she is that fame that comes along with all the meritorious deeds. She is the fame, she is the one who gives the fame to the devotees. And who are they? Those who do the good deeds are the holy ones, who can see when opportunities are given, which are the good ones, and they take on to that. And opportunities to do bad ones are also there, who have the wisdom to see this is not in the path of the dharma, this is not right, to avoid that, and to seek those that are the meritorious deeds. What are the meritorious deeds that are pleasing to the divine? It is giving, that helpful nature, speaking kind words, all the characteristics of the divine, the quality of all the goodness, the love, the bliss, the joy, sharing of it, generosity, the abundance, caring, compassion, honoring of all lives, gratitude, all these qualities of us, when we embrace and we follow and we give to others, share with others, all these are meritorious acts. Talking of the divine, as we see in the other names of us, the next few names, all these are meritorious deeds. And she is the meritorious deed. She gives the fame that comes along with the meritorious deeds. And she is the fame itself. And the holy ones are those who can discern between the meritorious deeds and the non-meritorious and the harmful ones. And like they have the wisdom, the skill of the swan to take the good and discard what is not the good. Because they take the good, their thoughts, their words, their actions keep multiplying. It becomes like a positive cycle, positive feedback cycle. As we do that, it reaps more and more of the punyam, and she comes with that. She blesses us with that. Her 543rd name, Om Śreem puṇyalabhyāyai namah swaha. 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 Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who can be attained through doing the righteous by being virtuous. Like in her previous name, all the good deeds, like one of the interpretations, her devotees, all the holy ones, all those who are on the path of the dharma, dhanam, karma, so they understand what is the righteous, what it means by being virtuous. So that punyam, those meritorious acts, labhya, so she's can be reached, attained by that. Like there is the usage labham. Labham means the profit, like the profit on any endeavor or undertaking, like companies have their P&L, that is the profit and loss. So labham is that profit, and she is labhya, she can be attained by doing punya. So she is that labham, the profit, the merit that we accrue as we do meritorious acts. Like I said, it's the positive feedback cycle. The more and more and more we get the opportunity, see the opportunities and make use of it to do the good deeds, the law of attraction, we get more opportunities to do more good deeds. And as we keep honing into that and keep doing the more meritorious deeds, the good deeds, we accumulate that much of that punyam that by which she comes to us. It draws us to her, or she pulls us to her, or these good deeds take us to her. She is attained through all these meritorious deeds that we have. That's why Amma always says this human birth is so precious, because in this human birth is the birth where there's so much opportunities to do punyam, to do these meritorious acts. This birth has it the most in plenty. In other words, such opportunities are much less or very meager. Like for animals and others, they can only take care of themselves. And some, as they evolve, they can take care of themselves and their family to some extent. In the human birth, there are opportunities to take care of ourselves, our families, and not just stop with that, to take care of other humanity, to take care of other life forms, to do good things for Mother Earth, the environment. So much possibilities, so many opportunities abound in this birth, and that is the greatest gift, because even angels, they say, devatas, other divine forms, the devis, they are waiting for a human birth to attain that punyam. This is a birth when they, by something happens, if they do something wrong, they are born in human forms for the bad karma to clear, they have to do punyam. For that punyam, they are born as humans. They have this human birth is such a gift. They wait for that opportunity to be born as a human, to do good deeds, to clear their account of the bad karmas. Asuras, others, the demons, they have the opportunities to do good. Their mind has gone berserk. They instead, it's unlike the swan that takes the good, discard the bad. They take in the bad and they keep multiplying the negative vicious cycle, and they do so much harm, and they have to take a form again to come in to do the good, and human birth abounds in that. So that's why human birth is so special, because in this birth it is so easy, so much easier to attain her, because of all the opportunities of doing all the virtuous meritorious deeds. And those who are so attached, have a lot of attachments, lot of desires. Ragam is attachment, dvesham is like craving and aversions. These ragam and dvesham, these keep us bound to this quagmire of the samsara, this cyclical birth and death, and being caught up in the desires, in the state of the mind. And it is again in the human birth we have the opportunities abound that we can transcend beyond the raga dvesha, all these bondages of cravings and aversions, and rise beyond the state of the mind, the ego, to reach the soul within each one of us, to her in the entirety, with everyone. And in the famous Saundarya Lahari verses, the first verse describes how she, the cosmic mother, Sri Lalitha Narayani, even Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Rudra, they worship her. And for us to even talk about her, to bow down to her, to worship her, unless one has accumulated virtues of previous births, of good karma, how can anyone be capable of singing your praise and prostrate before you? That's how the first verse starts. To come into this path of spirituality is such a grace, to sing the praise of the divine, to to hear about the divine, to hear about the glories of the divine, to sing the praise of the divine, to think of the divine. It is a great, great gift, blessing, and it is the karma, the good karmas of previous births that have brought us to a place where we can think of the divine even, which leads us to the next name of hers, 544th name. Om Śreem puṇya śravana kīrtanāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇya śravana kīrtanāyai puṇya śravana kīrtanāyai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇya śravana kīrtanāyai puṇya śravana kīrtanāyai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇya śravana kīrtanāyai 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 namah swaha. Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, the singing and hearing of whose praises makes one holy. So punya is that merit. Shravana is hearing, like Shruti is hearing. Shravanam, Smriti and Sharanam, Shruti and Smriti. It's like hearing and listening. Here Shravanam is again listening. Kirtanam, we see Kirtanam, bhajans, singing is Kirtanam. So singing, she is the singing and she is the hearing in the senses, but for each of the souls, the beings to go back home, going back to the source, is through the way of singing the praise of the divine, hearing the glories of the divine. So when we keep hearing these good things, it gets ingrained. So our focus is attuned to the glories of the divine. And what is the divine? The bestest of the best, everything. And we keep thinking of the divine. What do we attract? We attract only the bestest of the best. So we keep attracting the divine to reach her. So this is the way. She's the puṇya labhyāyai. That is the way to reach her. As we keep soaking in the divine, the law of the universe is that we will be drawn to the divine. The divine will be drawn to us. And so for these, and they say in the Kali Yuga, where it is so much of ignorance, so much of darkness, it's so easy to do wrong things because they abound around us. And it is more difficult to seek the good because you have to have the awareness of what is good and bad and the heart, the wisdom to seek the good. So it is harder in the Kali Yuga. So the 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 kindness, the compassion of the Divine Mother is the Kali Yuga. Just chanting the name of the Divine is enough to get so much of that puṇyam. Whereas in Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, other yugas, to get that grace and blessings from the Divine, you have to do so much more, so many yagams, so many things, so many tapas, intense tapas, practices. Whereas in the Kali Yuga, the Cosmic Mother knows it is difficult for the beings to follow all this because these things aren't available. There is so much more difficulty. So she's made it that much easier. Just thinking of the divine, the Shravanam, that hearing and thinking of the divine, and singing about the divine, singing the glories of the divine, talking the glories of the divine is enough, is such a great blessing to draw her to us, for us to be drawn to her, to the divine. And there are practices in temples in certain times, like every religion has certain periods of the year where the devotees spend more time thinking of the divine. Every religion has those periods. The same year, same time for all of humanity and all the beings, but certain timings of each year. Like right now, that is the Vasanta Navratri. Like we have the Navratri during the rainy seasons in October, November. Now is the springtime Navratri. Like that, then all the different religions. So these times, the people gather together, they chant the names, do the pujas, offer the naivedyam together, and rather than doing it singly, just directly from one prayer, from one person's altar doing the puja, Amma says when the community gathers together to do it, it is that many times more powerful. Like if I pray in my altar, it is my prayer, one person's prayer. But if 10 of us gather together, 100 of us gather together in the group prayers, each one of us receives the blessings for the strength of the prayers of 10 people doing it together, 100 people doing it together. So 100 of them receive 100 times, each of them receives 100 times what they did. 10 of them, each of them receives 10 times what they do it. So that group prayer and group singing is so much more uh, powerful. And temples arrange for these different seasons. They have these called Kada Kalakshepam. So Katha is stories. So before Ramanavami, they'll have the expert, the holy people, men, women, will come to say every day in the evening after people finish their work, they can come and sit there and listen to the stories, mingle with the songs, the story of Rama, the story of Krishna, the story of Lalitha Narayani, story of so many different divinities. All the religions also practice this, and people gather to come and listen to it. Someone singing it, someone telling the stories, singing the praise, the glory of the divine, and someone coming to listen to it. Both are a blessing to the giver and the receiver. She blesses the whole thing. And nowadays you have them plenty in the YouTube as well. So this Katha Kalakshepam, all these things, are available in plenty anytime to listen to also in the YouTube. And villages would have during these special times street theaters, street dramas where they enact different scenes, and from children to old people, men, women, everybody gathers and it becomes a community activity to participate in, to listen to talk about, to sing the glory of the divine. And this is the easiest and the joyous way to reach the divine. The bhakti marga through devotion is so simple, easy. The path is easy all along the way. In others, you need to work and do all that, but bhakti marga, the path of devotion, is the easiest. So the puṇya shravana kirtana, singing her, talking about her, listening to her is a great blessing and a gift we all have. Let us chant her prayers for her names for this week together. Om Namo Narayani. Om Jnanarupaya Vidmahi Shaktiyam Saya Dhimahi Tanno Shaktiyam Ma Prachodayat. Om Sarvamangalamangalye Shive Sarvarthasadhike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Śreem Śrīmatre Namah swaha. Om Śreem mēdhāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem mēdhāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem mēdhāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem śrutyai namah swaha. Om Śreem śrutyai namah swaha. Om Śreem śrutyai namah swaha. Om Śreem smrityai namah swaha. Om Śreem smrityai namah swaha. Om Śreem smrityai namah swaha. Om Śreem anuttamāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem anuttamāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem anuttamāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇya kīrtyai namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇya kīrtyai namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇya kīrtyai namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇyalabhyāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇyalabhyāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇyalabhyāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇyashravanakīrtanāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇyashravanakīrtanāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem puṇyashravanakīrtanāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem Śrīmatre namah swaha. Om Sarvamangalamāngalye Shive Sarvārthasadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Namah Swaha. Om Jnanarupaya Vidmahi Satyamsaya Dhimahi Tanno Satyam Prachodayat. Namah Swaha. Om Namo Narayani. Let us offer our chantings, our prayers to Sri Lalitha Narayani. Let us pray for all of us, all our loved, near, dear ones, all of humanity, all the sentient beings on Mother Earth and all the worlds, to walk this path of spirituality, to walk this path of dharma, dhanam, karma, puṇyam, to receive this gift of devotion for the divine from Sri Lalitha Narayani, from the divine, to connect with the divine, she within us, to connect with her, the divine within each other, to connect with her, the divine in the whole of the creation, to always be in the state of all the soul qualities of wisdom, peace, love, laughter, joy, bliss, abundance, generosity, contentment, compassion, gratitude, honoring of all life forms, soul strength, atma balam, devotion, all the soul qualities by the grace and blessings of Sri Lalitha Narayani, by the grace and blessings of Sri Shakti Amma Narayani. Om Namo Narayani. Any questions? If there are no questions, we can end the recording. Om Namo Narayani. Thank you.